Super 100. Pump up your performance.
The hills around Sabi echoed with the sound of high-powered machinery last Friday as South Africa's rally fraternity prepared for the start of the fourth national event of the season, the Sasol Rally. 59 cars in total had entered this event, of which 53 would make the start. All eyes looked to the top of the championship log and the drivers who have come to Sabi to do battle for those valuable points. Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding currently head the log, with Jan Habich, the first of the Class A contenders, some 8 points behind. On 57 points, just 4 points behind Habich are Hannes Krobler and the current champion, Serge Damso.
I must say it's very interesting to see Jan Habich has got a first and a second, and Hannes and myself have got first and a third. So this event might be, deciding the changes of the championship points.
Now you're in your new car, you're confident that that's been shaken down okay?
Yes, we've done a bit of testing yesterday and the day before. Everything seems to be very good, and the car is actually well put together and everything seems to work very well.
You're obviously going for championship points here.
For sure, and if we can win the championship and win another few rallies, then you've got something to put on the table, and the end of the year is coming, the budget is coming, so we have to talk to the guys, and if we can have good results to put on the table, I think that'll help a lot.
The draw for the 1994 Sasol Rally was an interesting one. Of the top seeds, Enzo Kuhn drew his Sasol Ford Laser into the #1 position on the starters list. The dry conditions and the resulting dust factor make the starting order vital.
Being #1 on the road is an assistance, but specifically at night time. During the day, the wind blows, there's not any dust, but at night time, there will be dust tonight. So the first car that leads into the night will have a very significant advantage. The problem being, after 5 stages, there is a regroup, and so the first 5 stages of this rally are absolutely critical to be leading after 5 stages.
We're all very much on the same pace, and I think we'll start this event on one of the fastest paces this year. It's always been a sprint event, and it will definitely be one today.
So the scene is set for one of the most exciting 2-day rally events of the season. And as the AA Motorsport flag is lifted from the Sasol Ford, Enzo and Guy officially start the 1994 Sasol Rally. Behind them, 52 anxious competitors await their own starting orders. Hannes Krobler and Martin Botha, confident after their recent win on the Castrol International Rally, start the Sasol as the second car on the road. Into stage 1, a short 1.8 kilometre section close to the centre of Sabi, and a chance for the local folk to see the cars in action. 2 minutes behind the Ford, Hannes follows Enzo through the stage, the dust gap already proving to be inadequate in places where the air is still. The spectators, it seems, are willing to brave the dust, and the spectacle is well worth it. All the Class A crews know that the pace is to be fast and that every second lost will be almost impossible to get back. Serge powers the Toyota through the stage under the instructions of navigator Vito Bonafide. The crew set a winning time of 1 minute and 41 seconds. Jan Habich and Douglas Judd clock in a time 3 seconds slower than Serge, getting a taste of the pace being set up front. Krobler's teammate Nuno de Cunha in the second BP Bank Centra finds himself in a one-on-one battle with fellow Portuguese driver Eliseo Miranda. Eliseo has challenged Nuno with a sign on his rear window saying, "Catch me if you can, de Cunha," and the fight for Portuguese honour is on. Brady Dabner and Neil Watt have made the journey from the Cape to contest Class B on the Sasol Rally. The team are currently 5th on the championship log, well clear of any Class B competition. The competition on this event, however, comes from Leon Botha and Jeff Tyra, and Brian Loopstra with Dave McGregor. Roloff Kutzer and Franz Boshoff in their Class S Ford Sapphire already suffering body damage. Into stage 3, and a look at the race up front. Serge and Vito have already stamped their authority on the opening stages, winning stage 1 ahead of Enzo Kuhn and stage 2 by 10 seconds ahead of Jan Habich. The Toyota crew win this stage by 16 seconds. Bringing up the second phase of the Class A attack are Nuno de Cunha and Eliseo Miranda, who are both off the pace but have only 4 seconds between them. The Class C competition looks to be fierce, with 4 crews that could do well. Peter Altersky has lost ground to the rest, but the crew to beat in Class C will be the current championship leaders Chart van der Walt and Cindy Harding. Glenn Durman and Dave Levkowitz are back in action in the radio unit's Toyota Conquest after a bout of pneumonia had sidelined Glenn and kept the crew from the Nationals. Ergen Fecken and Neil Fourie move up to complete the Class C fight after the Lawrence and Paisley Conquest stopped in Stage 2. After a good effort in the Castrol, Loopstra and McGregor continue showing form and move steadily up the field. By mid-afternoon, the dust conditions worsened as the noonday breeze disappeared. Surge took full advantage of the Ford crew's mistake when Enzo and Guy wrong-slotted in the open section between stages 3 and 4. Booking into the stage first gave Serge and Vito the dust advantage, which was now starting to tell. Serge's new car was performing well, but small teething problems were starting to appear. Serge could only tie the stage with Enzo Kuhn, who appeared out of the Toyota's dust, now in second position on the road. Jan Habich and Douglas Judd won the stage in a time of 4 minutes and 43 seconds, keeping their second place secure from Enzo and Guy in the Sasol Ford Laser. Grobler and Buerter retired in the stage with a broken fuel tank. On stage 5, the Habich Synchro broke the front diff, losing the Stanbrick team 18 seconds on stage time and some frantic work at the regroup. For the Toyota and Ford crews, it was the basics of fitting lights for the night stages and keeping the sponsor stickers visible from under the dust. Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide held a 52-second lead from Habich and Judd, who, despite losing time on stage 5, were able to stay just 7 seconds ahead of the Ford. Class C had just 5 seconds separating Van der Walt from Durman, who held 4th and 5th positions respectively. The Toyota crew have earned the right to lead the 47 remaining cars into the dusty night stages, from which most will be just happy to emerge unscathed. On stage 7, the Toyota team lost 34 seconds when the Conquest went off the road and Serge was unable to engage reverse gear. With the help of Vito pushing, Serge got the car going and managed to hang on to a very slender lead. Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson attacked the night stages with a second place of Habich and Judd firmly in their sights. They won stages 7 and 8, lost time on 9, but won stage 10 convincingly by 9 seconds. With team manager Sarah van der Merwe there to guide him, Enzo made the most of the dusty conditions, taking 22 seconds off Jan Habich, who played safe and backed off the pace, determined to complete the stages that would take the cars back to Nelspruit for the overnight stop. By morning, the field had been reduced to 37 cars. Most of the class leaders made it through the night, with the backmarkers taking the biggest knock in retirements. On the scoreboard, Enzo and Guy moved the Sasol Ford into second place. Nuno and Elisio have broken away from the lower classes and continue to engage in their private battle. 10 seconds separate the two teams. Serge and Vito, despite their problems, still lead the Sasol Rally.
We had a few problems with the gearbox, third gear jumping out, and somehow we lost reverse gear. So we lost a bit of time. We overshot twice, and of course Vito had to get out and push the car. So we lost a bit of about a minute during the night. You know, it was a pity because we could have opened the gap because we had a dust advantage. So anyway, we'll see what happens today.
Now the stages do start stretching out today. They're a little bit longer than some were last night. Is your front advantage, or being in front, going to be an advantage still?
I don't think so. During the day is not a problem. You know, there's a slight breeze, but definitely at night is an advantage. So be number one.
And your game plan, is your gearbox fixed, and are you going to go for it now?
Yes, we replaced the gearbox last night, so everything seems to be fine now. So it should be a good day today.
The Toyota pulls away from the start control, confident of building on their lead over the 11 stages ahead. Behind them, Enzo and Guy will have their hands full, fighting off Habich and Judd, who will no doubt spend the day trying to get their second place back.
I'll definitely fight to keep it. I think it'll be difficult catching Serge, but we'll be on there trying to put the pressure on him. And then also look at Yanni. He's very fast in this event, and we'll have to keep an eye on him, but obviously try and stay on the road.
Are you happy with your performance last night? I mean, conditions were pretty difficult.
I think so. You know, it's very difficult. It's very easy to make a mistake in the dust, and I thought I'd rather play it a bit safe, stay on the road and wait for the daylight and a better, clearer road.
After a short tar stage in Nelspruit, the crews moved back into the forest area near White River. Serge immediately throws down the hammer, completing the 6.4 kilometre stage in just 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Enzo stays on the pace, losing just 4 seconds to the flying Toyota crew. A sense of urgency hangs over the service areas. The service teams outside the car as anxious as the drivers and navigators in them. Habich shows his intentions with a spectacular driving display through stage 12. The pace is so hot that despite his extended effort, the Golf Synchro can only match the time set by Serge of 4 minutes and 6 seconds. On stage 14, the roads open up and the cars can stretch their legs as the speeds are pushed to beyond the 200 kilometre mark. Just as suddenly, the road narrows and the winding forest pass demands a more sedate pace. Serge, intent on staying alive, obliges. Enzo is visibly faster on these sections, and navigator Guy Hodgson must be hard-pressed to ignore the drop-off to his right. Behind the front trio, De Cunha and Rouliard chase hard to extend the 10-second lead on Miranda and Pretorius, having scored identical times on stage 12. The ex-Mozambican De Cunha is locked in a battle for honour against the Portuguese mainlander Miranda. The Golf crew goes on to win stage 13 by 5 seconds. The pace in classes B and C is as intense. Chart van der Walt must push his Class C Golf to the limits in an effort to keep the charging Toyota of Durman and Levkowitz at bay. Brian Loopstra and Dave McGregor started the day well ahead of their Class B opposition, Brady Dabner and Leon Buerter. Dabner's early morning times started to whittle away at the Opel's lead, and Loopstra was forced to respond on stages 13 and 14 as the Cape Townians applied the pressure from behind. The effect of the pressure started to tell, and on stage 15, we caught Loopstra in his Opel driving way over the limit and pushing themselves far too hard. While behind them, things were not going well for Brady Dabner and Neil Watt. We join the crew in car on stage 15. So ended the fight for Class B.
Can you get up? No, I can't get up this time.
Oblivious of the situation behind them, the Opel continues at an unnecessarily quick pace and are lucky to complete the stage unscathed. The fight for Class C ended towards the end of stage 14, when Chart and Cindy left the road and were unable to continue. This promotes Hergenvecken and Neil Fourie into second place in Class C, but a full 2 minutes behind the leading Radio Units car. Peter Altersky and Alan Bissett move up to third place in this class. Leon Buerter and Jeff Tyrer move up a place in Class B and overall as they pass the stricken Dabner and Watt on the stage. Tiras Viljoen and Warren Wakeham lead Class D in their Uno, ahead of Koos Roos and Irma Kutzer, who trail by just under a minute. Habich and Judd enter stage 15 late, while the leading Toyota of Damso and Bonafide is nowhere to be seen at all. We caught up with Habich and Judd a few minutes later at the Sabi regroup.
What's the problem? We see you late on the road.
Okay, we went off the road on an open section behind a spectator in the dust and did quite a bit of damage to the left front suspension. So
What stage was that on? Can you remember?
between 13 and 14. So we're just battling to get the thing lined up again. But I suppose we're still going, so we shouldn't complain.
So you didn't actually lose time in a stage?
No, not really. No, not really.
But has it slowed you down in the stages?
Definitely has, because the handling is not what it should be, and we're battling a bit with it.
Word comes through that the Damso Conquest has suffered permanent diff failure, leaving the Ford and the Golf to fight it out alone. Just 21 seconds separate them, with 12 seconds between Miranda and Acuna and just 5 stages remaining.
Habik's 21 seconds behind us, so we can't relax. And it's a pity that Serge fell out. We were having a good race with him. But rally is far from finished, so we got 5 stages, and so we have to concentrate hard and keep it on the road.
Just before the restart, Vito Bonafide confirmed the Toyota's retirement.
Something broke in the drivetrain, and we thought it was a half shaft at the back that had broken, and we lost about half a minute, although still in the lead at the end of 14. And then jacked the car up and found that the front drive shaft had broken. And unfortunately, there's a little piece of metal at the end of the shaft where it broke off. It remained in the front diff. We've never changed the front diff before, and we just gave it an attempt, and it just took us too long.
Enzo and Guy leave Sabi with a narrow lead, but a huge task. Behind them, the earlier struggle for Class Honour has withered, with a sudden absence of Dabner in Class B and Van der Walt in Class C.
It's a hell of a pity that Chart went off the road, because we were really just getting a good dance together there. And but that's the name of the game, you know, a bit of pressure and a mistake. Could have been us, could have been him. Fortunately for us, we're now in the lead. And we've got a substantial lead over the next class guys, so we'll just take it easy to the end, but finish for sure, yeah.
For the big bangers, it's back to 110%, with a Sasol Honour at stake for Enzo and valuable championship points up for grabs by Jan. The route back to the finish at Nelspruit is by no means less demanding, and Loopstra and McGregor crash out of contention on stage 18, ending their chances of an almost certain Class B win. On stage 19, Enzo and Guy take extra servicing time, letting Havik and Judd lead into the stages and forcing the Golf crew to set the pace. As the road conditions change, so the drivers have to adapt instantly. A mistake now, and all will be lost with just 2 stages remaining. The unforgiving rivalry through the entire duration of the rally has the Golf of Miranda and Pretorius sounding like a bucket full of bolts. Sounding better than the Golf, but still trailing it on score, the Sentra of Acuna and Rouliard fails to match its times. Glenn Durman and Dave Levkovitz keep up an unnecessarily fast pace as they head for an almost certain Class C victory. Leon Buerter and Jeff Tyrer having inherited the Class B lead from the luckless Loopstra and McGregor. Also out of luck, Eliseo Miranda and Francois Pretorius found walking out of the penultimate stage.
We've been having this sort of rally long dice with Nuno, that you guys are well aware of, that everybody's been looking at. And then we're going along and the lower control arm broke, and poor Eliseo had his hands full of motor car that had 2 front wheels going in different directions, and eventually stopped against the bank, and that was it. There's nothing you can do.
Enzo Kuhn broke 2 records last weekend. He gave his sponsors, Sasol and Ford, their 3rd win in a row on the Sasol Rally, and he became the youngest driver to win a national event, beating Sarah van der Merwe's record set exactly 20 years ago.
It's a great feeling. It's nothing like sweet taste of victory, and we had an incredible dice with Jannie Habik towards the end. He was really flying and he kept us on our toes. It was difficult to pace ourselves. We didn't want to go too fast and make a mistake, but we couldn't relax completely because he was still pushing. So excellent finish, nice event, and I'm so happy to do it for Sasol. It's a hat-trick for them, and I'm as happy as they are.
Well, congratulations. Everybody said Saul was going to be a hard act to follow when he did it last year, and you've managed, so that's great.
Oh, no, Sasol, I must mention the Sasol's been incredibly supportive throughout the event. He's carried my baggage, he's booked me into hotels, he's looked after me like his own kid. And I really must thank him for that. It's incredible, the support I've gotten from him morally and in every possible way. He's led the team through this event. It's magnificent to see a guy like that really put in effort into a small team and something where he's probably got nothing to gain.